If you're renovating an investment property, you have to spend your money the right way. Which big ticket items will actually increase a home's value? A new kitchen, a nicer bathroom? Today, I'll break it down so you can get maximum value, but also not waste money over rehabbing on your next renovation. Or maybe your first renovation project. Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Kerr. You can usually find me hosting the Real Estate Rookie podcast, but today I'm filling in for Dave Meyer here on the BiggerPockets YouTube channel. I saw this question posted in the BiggerPockets forums, and it's about renovations and how to prioritize your rehab so that you can maximize an appraisal value. And I wanted to weigh in on this because I thought it was pretty valuable. So this is a question I actually hear a lot. So hopefully it will help any of you who are planning one of your first rehab projects. So this question was asked by a BiggerPockets member named Stephanie. So Stephanie said, we're working on a live-in flip and have to refinance sooner than planned. We're renovating the basement, upgrading the kitchen cabinets and counter, splitting one large bathroom into two, painting the house exterior, adding AC, and upgrading the outdoor area with a new deck and patio. Since our timing is tight, I'm trying to identify which of these updates we should do before refinancing and which to save for after. Besides the kitchen and bathrooms, are there any other items on this list that make a big difference when appraising a property? Okay, so there's a lot to dig in here, but first, today's video is sponsored by RentRedi. Managing rentals shouldn't be stressful. That's why landlords love RentRedi. Get rent in your account in just 2 days. Faster cash flow, less waiting. Need to message a tenant? Chat instantly in the app. No more lost emails or text. Plus, schedule maintenance repairs with just a few taps. No more phone tag. Ready to simplify your rentals? Get 6 months of RentRedi for just $1 using promo code BP2025. Sign up at the link in the bio because the best landlords are using RentRedi. Back to Stephanie's question. I'll break this down into a few different parts. So first of all, let's talk about what's a live-in flip. So this is where you purchase a property with the expectation to live in it while you are fixing it up and then sell it. Most often, people who are doing a live-in flip live in the property for 2 years. And this is because once you've lived in a property and had it your primary home for 2 years, you can actually sell it and not pay capital gains tax on the profit from the sale of the property because it was your primary residence. There are limitations onto, what the amount is that you can actually not pay taxes on. So if you make, $2 million, you're not going to be able to, not pay taxes on that $2 million. So make sure you know what your limitations are. And it varies if you're single or married too. This live-in flip, they're having to refinance sooner. So when you do a live-in flip, you can purchase the property multiple ways, but you can also go and refinance before you actually sell the property to recoup some of your costs back that you put into the live-in flip. When you do a refinance, your bank is going to ask for an appraisal on the property to determine the new value. And most oftentimes, if you're just going to, a bank that does conventional financing and you're refinancing, most often they will lend you up to 80% of what the appraised value is, okay? If you want to pull out $80,000 on your refinance, you need your property to appraise for $100,000. So the first thing I would do, and I have done this before, if you know anybody, friends, family, other investors in your area that has gotten appraisal done recently, ask for a copy of that appraisal. An appraisal is going to be your guidebook as to what an appraiser is actually looking at. And if you can get one for in your market, even better to see what the appraiser is looking for. The first thing they actually do is build a chart. So if you've never seen an appraisal before, it's your property, and then it's comparable 1, comparable 2, comparable 3. Okay. And then on the side, it has all of these line items of different things it looks at. So square footage, bedroom count, bathroom count. Say my property is 1,500 square feet. If one of the comparable properties is 2,500 square feet, they'll actually deduct money. Say that property sold for $200,000, they'll deduct X amount of money off of that to show it more comparable to your property, okay? And vice versa. If the other property, the comparable property was only 900 square feet, they would add money to it to make up for that difference, okay? So really, it's just pluses and minuses of this has this, so let's take that off because this one doesn't, to try to get down to numbers to make it comparable. So if you get that appraisal and you can look at all those line items, you can see what an appraiser in your area has valued. I have this property that has 2 cabins on it. One is the main house and the other one was a completely gutted guest house that had never been finished. We prioritized finishing off that guest house. All we did in the main house was redo the bathroom because the bathroom wasn't even operating at the time. So we put a really nice bathroom there, but didn't really touch anything else. In the guest house cabin though, we redid everything. A beautiful, amazing kitchen, beautiful bathroom, bedroom, redid the lofts, everything. When the appraiser came, we made the mistake of saying this is the main house and that is the guest house. We should have done it vice versa. Even though the cabin was different and smaller and not a big main house, the appraiser only added $20,000 of value into that property that we had almost put $100,000 into that guest house. So that was a big aha moment for us where we should be paying more attention as to what an appraiser is actually valuing. So if you go through this list, even though that cabin property was super nice, it was just considered a guest house and it was just $20,000. We should have flipped properties because the guest house had a bedroom and 2 lofts, and that would have counted as a 3-bedroom, where the main house was only counting as a 1-bedroom. So that would have made a big difference in our appraisal. We actually did go back and dispute our appraisals. So this is something else that's important when you are getting appraisals done, is that you have the right to dispute them. So you would first talk to your lender and say that you would like to dispute this appraisal. And here's an itemized list of reasons why you think it should appraise for more. And you can include your own comps, or you're going to point out things in the appraisal that you think are wrong or inaccurate. We actually did get our appraisal increased. So as much as I would love appraisals to be a science, there is a type of art form. You could have one appraiser say that your house is valued at 250, another say 300, and another say 217,000. Okay, so it could vary. When looking at this property, bed bathroom count is definitely important. Okay, that will add value for sure, adding in extra bedrooms. The idea here that you're taking one large bathroom and creating it into 2, that is a great idea. Having 2 bathrooms is going to add more value to the appraisal rather than one large bathroom. They're not going to take into account the square footage of each bathroom. It's just going to show on the appraisal sheet that there is 2 bathrooms instead of 1. So that is a great thing to take into account. Basically, for finishes, if you look at an appraisal, it is poor, good, average, better. There is no this kitchen has, super high-end finishes. There's no detail in that. Yes, they will add more money for better finishes, things like that, but you should be adding in things that are directly going to be large dollar amount impact. So if you have a deck or a patio, that is a line item. If you have a garage, that is a line item. If you have really nice landscaping, that's not going, even if it's a $50,000 landscaping job, that's not really going to move the needle on your appraisal. Get a copy of an appraisal in your area and be able to look at what they're comparing, but also go and look at the comparables in your area. What are they going to be comparing those houses to? So does every comparable in your area have granite countertops? Because if you don't have granite countertops and they all do, yours will be a lesser, better, not a better finish than the other ones, and they'll be considered less average or whatever term they end up using for that. If they're all somewhat similar in finishes, then they'll all be marked average, average, average. If yours is better, yours is the only one with granite countertops in the kitchen and it's a really nice kitchen, you'll get a higher mark on that. What they'll actually value that amount at is up to each appraiser. There's no like set hard and fast rule that if you put in, this amount of, updates into your kitchen, it's going to add X amount of value to your property. So let's kind of recap here and summarize the things you need to know. First, get your hands on an appraisal so you can see what they're actually looking at when doing an appraisal, okay? The next thing is to figure out the comparables. What are actually going to be the comps that they use on your appraisal? They try to run comps just like you would as a real estate investor, as in, somewhat close to the property, not a super far away. So it's actually comparable in location. Another thing too, they also look at location. I actually, before recording this, I pulled an appraisal and it actually marked like some of the properties were on busy roads and some weren't. And the one that wasn't on a busy road had a higher valuation because of that too. Just looking at everything on the appraisal, figuring out the comparables as to what they have and don't have. So if there's something you can make better, but really prioritizing those line items by adding features, like having the AC is a great thing, adding that on. Painting the house exterior. This is a interesting one that you want the exterior to look nice, but I don't think it's going to be a huge ding. I feel like adding the extra bathroom is going to be another priority. Having that upgraded kitchen cabinets, the counter, doing the bathroom, the kitchen, the main things is going to add more value. But also look at the comparables. Does every other house that is selling in those areas for what you want your house to appraise for, do they have a nicely painted exterior? So the comparables and getting a copy of an appraisal, those are your two main priorities if you are looking to actually get an appraisal done in the near future. You can also ask your loan officer and say, hey, do you know anyone who has refinanced lately that, maybe you could take a look at their appraisal and like tell me what were some of these things valued at? So you'll never know. And if you need help finding a loan officer who is investor friendly that would know why you want to ask these things, you can head over to biggerpockets.com/lenderfinder. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the BiggerPockets YouTube channel if you found it helpful. I'm Ashley Kerr, host of the Real Estate Rookie podcast, which you can also find on YouTube. Dave Meyer will be back soon with a new video.